Greetings. You have your ticket? You don't have one? Come on in, my friend. Even without the ticket, hit the scripture button below. You're always welcome to join me, all right? Hey guys, DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey, you know, uh, uh, I just wanted to take a moment and just speak about, something that bothers me, from time to time. And that subject is, you can't sell a crisis, in a good time at the same time. And you know, I was listening to this fella. He's a preacher. You know what I'm saying? He's a Israelite, preacher. So he's one of us. But and he has a good message most of the time. But he went on to talk about not only reparations, but he also talked about preparations. He talked about how that the 400 years of American bondage has coming to an end, and not unlike the bondage that our people suffered. What I'm saying, back in the days of Moses, the 400 years under Egypt, African Egypt bondage, and how that at the time of their deliverance, that Yahweh had Egypt, Pharaoh's Egypt, Africa's Egypt, give to our people, our ancestors, the reparations that they deserve for the labor and the toil and the things that they did to make Egypt great. But the problem I had with what this guy was saying, as he went on talking about we need to be ready, we need to invest in land, good things, how that we needed to also make sure that we understood the importance of, sticking together, you know what I'm saying, and working together as a social group, not anti other groups, but working as a social independent group, like all other groups work as well together. But then he went on after he got finished saying these things and how concerned we need to be and how careful we need to be and mindful of the coming days of danger in America for everyone, but in particular for people of color, the Israelites here. And let me say this: why I'm saying an Israeli and an Israelite. Now you're gonna say, why did you jump into that? Because it was something that I thought about it earlier, and I think that sometimes many of you confuse Israelis for Israelites. Israelis are people who live in Israel, Jews who live in Israel for the most part. Those are Israelis. Israelites, they are the children of Jacob, of the 12 tribes, which Judah are most of us that are here in America. So Israelis are Jews, living in Israel. Israelites are the children of the Most High, from the seed of obviously Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, who's later to be called Israel, and all of the descendants up until this particular present time. All right? But he went on to sell, back to, to what I wanted to say, about going to Costa Rica and having a good time and taking your rent money and using that to have a good time. And then he switched over saying, don't trust in the fiat currency here, which is a good idea, and that you should buy gold and buy the rand from South Africa and the yen from China. Now, obviously, this video is a little old that he was talking about, because if you look at China's economy today and the yen, there are many people who tell you that yen is in much trouble as the dollar is in. At least as I'm sharing this message, with you. I'm sure you guys heard about the run on the banks in China. Also, the what's going on with the trade deficits. Not the trade deficit, but the trade embargo with China and how it's impacting the stock market, the bond market. But back to this. He 1 minute he's saying go out and have a good time. Then the next minute he's saying caution, beware, be prepared. Make decisions, have a plan. Go out and have a good time. Beware. Take caution. Be prepared. Look out. Around what's going on with you. We're coming towards the end of our journey here in America, because Yahweh is about to judge America. But go out to Costa Rica and go out to to Nigeria and go to Swiss. See that kind of stuff. Is why people look upon us sometimes, as childlike, because they always say, okay, Are you serious or you're not serious? Because serious people understand the importance of handling serious business. And when that business is done and things are all their ducks in a row, all their I's are dotted, T's are crossed, then if there's some time for leisure without taking the eyes off the business, then you can take a little time away to enjoy yourself, relaxation, but never under any circumstances conflating and going back and forth, with two different things. In the book of James, it talks about, a wavering-minded man. It's unstable in all of his ways. And let that man think that Yahweh will bless him, because Yahweh will not bless him because of his inconsistency. And we need to get a little bit more serious as a people. We can't shout and say we're concerned about what's going on in our communities. We're concerned what's going on with racism in America. We're concerned what's going on with mass, murders in this country, etc. And then turn around, and then start talking about, Juneteenth and what we're going to be doing for Memorial Day, and when is the next Essence Festival, who's going to be playing there. Again, it makes people not take us serious, guys, ladies. And so again, we need to understand how to be single-minded on things that really matter, things that are very serious. And those of you who are in leadership positions inside the community, actives, whatever your role might be, you follow me? You need to understand that your word carries a lot of weight. And people are looking at you, and they're looking for you for direction. They're looking at you for instruction. They're looking at you for solutions. And when you go off the reservation with that kind of silly game, childish like talking mentality, then you throw them off too. Okay? And with all of the distraction that most people got going on, there's a saying that most people have the attention span of a gnat on crack. You know what I'm saying? Again, most people have the attention span of a gnat on crack. And there's probably that's probably a truism in many cases. So, what is the essence of my message? Is that there's a time, for all things. And right now is the time to be about the business of being prepared for the unexpected, being prepared for the expected. Read the signs of the time, understand the signs of the time, and make preparations and make plans and be serious. The Apostle Paul said in one of his letters, I think it was to the church at Corinth, I think he said, when I was a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away my childish thoughts. In other words, he was talking about maturity in your thinking, maturity in your behavior, maturity in your processes, okay? And it's time now that, we put away our childish thoughts. It's not the time for playing. It's the time right now for planning, preparation, you know what I'm saying? And taking steps to ensure that our future is a future that's not only safe, for ourselves, but also that is safe, for our children and generations after them, if Yahweh tarries, okay? So again, this is not to lecture you, my friend. And I do apologize if you feel offended because you feel like I'm trying to lecture you. I'm not. That is not my intention. My intention is to alert you that the perception of what you're saying around you, how you behave, makes other groups not take you serious, when you want to be taken seriously, okay? And that's the essence of my message, to you tonight. Short, sweet, and quick. But it cannot be this back and forth, 1 minute you got a problem, next minute you don't have a problem, okay? Either you have a problem and you need to take action around and addressing that and staying focused through determination, being resilient, being a visionary, being planful, or you don't have a problem. Therefore, you need to just go out, have a good time, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you shall die. Love you guys. Again, no disrespect. If anybody's taking this, to heart, good. If you're taking it, personally, as though it's an attack upon your time for pleasure, then you've misunderstood what I'm saying, okay? So that is not the intent of the message. The message is there's a time for all things. And you can't be out here talking about all the things many of you guys are talking about around reparations, mass killing, gun control legislation, Donald Trump and his policies and his processes, the Congress, the Mitch McConnell's out there making these irresponsible statements, the police department, and their assault on young black men and black women. You can't be serious about all of that, on the backside of it, out there twerking, out there, buck jumping, in the streets of New Orleans, you know what I'm saying, or running to every Tyler Perry movie or play, because my dear is coming. All right? Get with it, get serious, getting about it. Love you guys. Talk to you later. DFG, get in flight. Bye now.